Now you may be under the assumption that buying all the available upgrades in the tuning shop and spending hundreds of thousands of credits in the process will produce a car capable of insanely fast lap times. It can be so tempting to just choose parts willy-nilly, and if the PP goes blue, that's usually a good thing, right? Easy. Except how many times have you done that only to find the car has way too much power for its own good, or that it's cost you an absolute fortune and it's no longer as fun as the original car you started with, and you end up scrapping the whole project, never to be seen again. Although that does look like quite good fun actually. But the truth is, you can save thousands by simply following this revised tuning shop, which concentrates on the essentials rather than simply buying every single upgrade, which leaves you with a car you don't understand, costs you a fortune, and then costs you even more credits when you have to buy a new engine and new chassis just to start the whole process all over again. Now, I have broken down the tuning shop into just 3 categories, which I'm going to show you in a second. The reason I've broken the tuner shop down is because a problem I always come across is indeed which tuning upgrades do I apply and when? Do I add sports discs or go straight to the racing ones? But then do I need to upgrade the sports pads to the racing ones as well? Height adjustable suspension or fully customizable suspension? Does my build really require racing tyres, or should I save some credits and just get the sports tyres? And so on. Hopefully my updated tuning shop will give you some idea of what to apply for the particular build you're trying to make, i.e. a street car, a track car, or a race car. On screen you can see I have broken down the tuning shop into those 3 categories. There are timestamps for you to go back and make notes or screenshot or whatever you youngsters do nowadays. Now I'm going to leave Extreme and Ultimate aside for this video because most of the parts are not needed and you can't even access Ultimate until level 50. So let's put this new revised tuning shop into action. This is the Honda Civic, the kind of car you might have owned as a first car. And what did we do with our first car? We put silly air filters on and silly back box exhausts, which made more noise than if it had no exhaust at all. So what I've done is I've used the first tab in my revised tuning shop to make a street car. The kind of car you would modify from your driveway, for example. And where better to try out a street car than on the streets? This is Tokyo Expressway. And what we have here is a split screen showing some of the performance differences between a standard Civic, in this case, and a modified one. So the modified Civic, much more stable on the brakes through there, given the upgraded sports discs and pads. Able to go full throttle all the way up the hill here at Tokyo Expressway. And then down through the tunnel, I'm able to reach 120 miles an hour in the upgraded Civic due to its increased performance. Now, I'm not saying you can't use the track tab or even the racing tab in my version of the tuning shop for the Civic in this case. I have simply categorized the tuning shop a bit better and I'm displaying the kinds of cars you can make. And with that, 13,750 credits worth of tuning upgrades buys you roughly 4.5 seconds in this case. Not bad. Now my second example to show off the track tab in my tuner shop is this, the BMW M3 from 1997. And you can see which upgrades I've applied from the track tab in my tuning shop. Now in this case I have left the engine untouched, just a personal preference thing, but there's no harm in applying these upgrades. With that we're heading to, you guessed it, a track. Goodwood in particular. Personally, this is the kind of track I think of when I think club level, track day. This is the kind of track I'm thinking of. Again, split screen demonstrates the performance difference between the base model and the modified one. In my opinion, these tuning modifications create a car for the tab you have chosen. In this case, a track car. I can just wrap my head around all of the modifications a bit better in this arrangement. Let me know if you agree in the comments, or let me know if it can be improved. And with that, we're going to round out these laps. It's a 127.6 for the stock M5 and a 120.6 for the modified one. This was a perfect example of how too much power would have ruined the car for me. Just the right amount of power coupled with the handling made this credits well spent. Finally, the racing tab. And for this, I've chosen the Nissan Z34 or 370Z. Let's use the racing tab to bring this car up to scratch for competitive racing. Now, this is where things can get out of hand. Think about the ideal power you want to achieve. Bear in mind, Group 3 cars range from around 500 to 600 horsepower. So think about horsepower and then apply things like your brakes and weight reduction, etc. So that's what I've done, as you can see from all the purchased items on the screen. Let's go and see how it performs against some proper Group 3 spec race cars. Bear in mind, this was just a base model Z34 for 43,750 credits. I think something that's really apparent when you start adding all these major modifications and increasing the horsepower of these cars is that you need to accompany them with at least a basic setup, and that's going to be different for different cars. This Z34, for example, has just about the same braking distance as the Group 3 cars I'm surrounded by with these upgrades. If I had purchased more engine upgrades from the tuning shop, I'm pretty sure I would be overtaking cars on the straights. The braking distances would be significantly increased, which makes racing these cars around you so much harder and, in my opinion, more unenjoyable. I also think there should be different levels of aero packages in the tuning shop. As we can see, the Group 3 cars really perform a lot better in high-speed corners due to the amount of aero they have. Aero packages, just like the weight reduction ones, would complement these highly tuned racing cars nicely, in my opinion. If you are tuning a particular car for the menu books or you need to meet certain regulations, increase the power so that you stay under the regulations, and then most importantly, focus on handling characteristics. So for example, if you're tuning for a 6 or 700 pp event, then you may want to go straight to the racing drill discs over the sports ones. Or if you're tuning for a much lower pp entry level event, carbon ceramic discs and the fully height adjustable suspension would be a bit overkill, which comes back to my point of saving credits where you can, especially in the early stages of Gran Turismo. I really hope you found this useful, and let me know, which I'm sure you will, your thoughts. Have a good day everyone, and may the force feedback be with you.